Alright, can you hear me? Hold up. I got no sound. Can you hear me? Just bear with us 1 second as we get everything set up, and we will be started. Professional streamer. Just 1 moment. He can hear me, but I can't hear him. So just give us 1 moment while we fix our audio issue.
Check. I wonder if I have to hit push to talk. Maybe that's the issue. Alright. Check. That's exactly what it is. It's push to talk. Yeah, I didn't think there would be push to talk on a voice call, but I guess there is. I guess I'm gonna turn that off real fast.
Alright, go ahead. Dude, I like your green screen. Kind of jealous.
Try that. Does that work?
Yep, you're good.
Alright. Yeah, because it was going to get real irritating if I had to hit push to talk.
Yeah, I really can't believe it had to do that.
Yeah, this guy... I've been doing this for about a year, so I just bought everything slowly, but this guy was about 50, 60 bucks on Amazon, and then I got tired of strapping this on the chair all the time, so I bought like an actual hang-down green screen, which is about the same cost.
Right, I understand that. Alright, give me 1 second. They're saying you're hella loud, so let me turn you down just a little bit.
Oh, I'm sure. Move over to my live dashboard here.
Alright, is BloodWake still hella loud?
Yep. Maybe. Possibly.
First off, Aries, don't talk to us like this. We had some issues.
Uh-oh. Oh, so you're streaming right now?
Yeah, we just went live.
Oh, wow.
I just started it. Alright, so this is the BlazeCast, the podcast. I'm your host, BlazeDog1134. This is a gaming podcast where we talk about the news and really how our guest, BloodWake, got started streaming. So, BloodWake, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, what kind of stream you are, etc.
Hey, my name's BloodWake. I'm on BloodWakeLive, which is at twitch.tv/BloodWakeLive. I started streaming because for pretty much years and years and years and years, I was a retail salesperson at a video game establishment. And I was just super into video games. Always have been playing since I was 5, and I was just like, well, what better? If I'm going to be playing them, I might as well be online and enjoying games with everybody else. So that's pretty much why I decided to start. And then I had so much fun doing it that I just kept upgrading and really wanting to start putting the grind in to do it, to keep going with it.
Right. Was there any like for me where I lived originally, I didn't have the internet to do it, so like I had to move. Was there any like obstacles that you had to overcome at first?
Yeah, that was one of them. Honestly, I didn't have the internet either initially, and that was something that kept me from experimenting with it a lot earlier. But once I had moved, we had gotten better internet, and I was like, well, I'm going to give it a shot. So, and I've been doing it for about a little over a year now, probably about a year and a half.
Was it what you expected, like playing games, reacting with chat and everything? Was it kind of what you expected, or was it a little bit different than what you thought it was going to be?
It was a little bit different. I didn't know exactly. I don't necessarily think that I thought I was going to be Ninja or anything right off the bat, but I thought that I might be able to get a few more people to watch initially than it took, if that makes sense. But I had to do a lot of learning too, so it was a lot of, well, I've got to go over here and talk to Chad and try not to completely just zone into the game, which I can definitely just zone into a game if I'm really into it. So it was a lot of learning.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, you get really into a game, it's hard to remember. Like, you got to focus on chat, what they're saying, and everything. Do you remember the first game you streamed?
The very, very, very first game I streamed was Overwatch. Um, and I just did it. The first game I really wanted to. I was gonna launch the channel with whenever I got my Xbox One X. But what I ended up doing was I did a few test streams and stuff with Overwatch, just playing with buddies on PS4 for a while.
Right. So did you have like when you started, did you have like an overall plan, or was you just like, I'm gonna go Overwatch and then I'm gonna see whatever takes me to the next game?
Um, I think whenever I started, I thought that the entire layout for what I was going to do was that I wanted to be really true to myself. So I didn't necessarily know exactly, like, am I going to play specifically Battle Royale or shooters or anything like that. I just knew, well, for one, I knew that compared to some people that are already on the internet, I suck. So I absolutely knew that right off the bat that it was going to have to be my stream was going to have to be personality based. So a lot of what I concentrate on is just playing the games I want to play, so that way I have the maximum amount of fun, and that gets the viewers into it.
Right.
Because if I don't, and some games I'll play that I won't have fun, like I mean, Mike Tyson's Punch Out is a great game, but I'm playing it right now and it's frustrating me to death. And but that's really entertaining because I'm gonna lose my mind, and the chat really comes in to either support and or laugh at me, and it's always a good time. So if I feel like if I'm having a good time or an awful time, it's gonna be entertaining. Whereas I'm definitely not. A lot of guys who stream are just good, and that's how they get where they're going. And that's definitely not the way I'm doing it. So
Right. And Mike Tyson Punch Out was voted by your chat, right?
yep, because I hit 50 subs. So my goal for 50 subs, I didn't really have like a stated goal, but when that happened, I sort of came up with that specific goal because I know that there's a lot of games out there that people want to see me play that to that point, I've not really given up that control to the community yet. A lot of what I choose to play, I choose just because I know I'm going to have fun with them. But that's something new, and honestly, it's caused a lot of interesting streams. So I'm glad I was able to do that, and I look forward to doing that some more in the future.
Right. It's interesting giving the controls to what you play to chat, because you never know what chat might do for you. They might do good, they might do bad. You just really never know about them. So
Yeah.
the big news is today Anthem came out. Like, if you had Origin Premiere, whatever it's may be called, have you played it yet?
So I played it for about 15 to 20 minutes. I'll probably be streaming it tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. Um, but I did do like a brief bonus stream just to make sure that the game wasn't gonna, be like the demo, and that I was gonna be able to stream it well on my computer. And so far, I'm not having a lot of I didn't have a lot of problems with it. I didn't get super far. I just wanted to calibrate everything so that it looked good. But it seemed like it launched pretty well, and it looks like it streams pretty well too, from what I was looking over here on what everybody else sees on my monitor computer over here. And I mean, it looks like it's going to be a lot better than what I expected.
Right, which is, exciting. Now, so do you think Apex will have a impact on Anthem's launch?
That's a very good question. I think that overall, like maybe initially it would, but because I know that they share some sort of the same market share in terms of shooters and stuff like that. But I think the more logical comparison to make would be Anthem versus like Destiny, or the Division 2 would probably be a bigger competitor for Anthem. At the end of the day, I think that the Battle Royale market and the Destiny market are a little bit different. While the Battle Royale market is super huge,
Right.
I don't and I think that's the big thing going on right now. But I think Anthem is definitely for a smaller, more niche market, even though it's a AAA title.
Now, you've played Apex, correct? Like you
Yeah,
played quite a bit.
I played a little bit of it. Yeah, absolutely.
How do you think it compares to the other BR games out there?
I think it's another logical step in the right direction with BR because we sort of started with PUBG, and PUBG was good, but it was also super detailed. There's a lot of leaning. The game was really, really glitchy, um, and it took a while for it to get on that level. And then we sort of moved on to the next big one was Fortnite, and it added the building, but it was a little bit more refined. Less, it runs pretty much good. It runs good on pretty much everything, even a cell phone. So it runs good on a little bit of everything. And then Call of Duty came out with Blackout, and Blackout was super awesome in terms of even refining it more, making it more fun to play on a controller. I think it's more fun to play Blackout on a controller than even Fortnite, just because it's easier to pick stuff up and similar stuff. And I think Apex, with the way that you can just ping stuff, is really good, especially for guys like us who are streaming, because we don't necessarily want to have that voice chat on with random strangers and then come and hijack our stream. But you can still communicate really well with that. And I've been having a lot of fun with it, and it runs great. I've been having a lot of fun. I'm actually planning on playing a little bit of it tonight.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it did a lot of things right, and I think it put a lot of pressure on Fortnite because I read somewhere that like Apex came out, then like 2 days later, Fortnite released a huge patch to fix a whole bunch of issues that were being announced for like months. So I think it's good for like Fortnite to have the competition of Apex. So I think overall it's good for the genre itself.
No, yeah. I think that we'll see even more progression as we go on. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely the best, the most polished, and the best ones come out so far. And I'm glad that the Titanfall people did it, because I think that's a really good company that gets overlooked quite a bit in terms of their shooter prowess.
Yeah, for sure. And I thought it was kind of strange how like they announced it and then like 2 days later, boom, it's here. Like they were
Yep.
ready to go. And I thought that was kind of a unique marketing tactic by them.
Yeah,
So
that's something that you see a lot more with companies, is the shorter, not necessarily the announcement as soon as they did it, but like even a lot of Capcom games, you don't really hear or see a whole lot from them until about 6 months before launch. Like Resident Evil just did that, and I feel like
right.
that helps people, and it keeps the hype level up through release, which is something that you don't see from like Square Enix, where they can announce Kingdom Hearts and it comes out like 13 years later, or Final Fantasy 15 and it comes out 10 years later, and stuff like that.
Yeah, those are and then like they announced Final Fantasy 7 and we may get it.
One of
Shit,
these
maybe
days.
in my lifetime, maybe. So a game like Kingdom Hearts 3 that did have such a long delay, like it was 13 years since the other main entry of Kingdom Hearts 2. Do you think the long delay hurt it, or do you think they should have tried to pump it out like 2 years after?
I don't necessarily think that it hurt Kingdom Hearts as much in terms of its release. Because it seemed like it was. I was at a early launch at a store for that, and it seemed like the hype was up even compared to more recent games. But at the same time, in the gameplay design, you can definitely tell that they didn't really progress a whole lot from what they were already doing with the original Kingdom Hearts games, which is fine because it was good. But yeah, absolutely.
Right, and so why do you think a game like Kingdom Hearts that can go 13 years without another main release still be successful? Because I mean, like the age group it's designed for really wouldn't even have played Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah, that's very true. Although some of the difficulty on those older games, I would argue, like if you go back and play those, they're super hard for kids. That's super hard for me. But I think what kept the series going is the fact that the it had a pretty hardcore rapid fan base to it, and also in addition to that, the Disney aspect of it, and both of those together, plus the fact that there were also other games in the series that released between 2 and 3, that definitely helped it out because Kingdom Hearts really rewards you if you played every one of them. That's one thing I learned.
Right. So did you play all of them on stream, or did you only play Kingdom Hearts 3 on stream?
I actually played all of them on stream. For the most part, I had there's a story so far collection that's available for PS4. And that had the 1.5 and 2.5 and 2.8 collections pretty much all in one box. I think it's around $40. But
yeah, I think so.
They had there between the games there was 1, 2, 3, 4. There's probably about 6 games and 3 movies based cutscene movies that they edited together based on the game. So that pretty much caught anybody up if you played through all of them, which I did.
So I haven't played my Kingdom Hearts 3 yet. I own it. It's next to me. It's still sealed up here, but I've not played it. Does it have anything in it, like a catch-up? Like a 20-minute, 30-minute catch-up? Or is that only if you went back and played the other ones?
You do. I think there are 5 like story cutscenes on the main menu. So if you need some catch up, you've got that before you start the actual main game. I didn't watch them on my stream mainly just because I just played through them. But I hear that they had patched that in later, so make sure you get that day 1 patch on there.
Okay. So I've got your stream. You've been playing through Devil May Cry. Is there a reason why you picked the Devil May Cry series at the moment to play through?
Devil May Cry 5 is coming out next month is the big reason. And another reason is that I've played a lot of games similar to that in the years between the initial release of the first one and now. And I wasn't, whenever they first came out, I didn't really like that type of game, the genre. So I didn't really get into it, but I played games like Bayonetta since then. Bayonetta is pretty much a spiritual sequel to Devil May Cry, and I love those. So
yeah, it's like, amazing.
We got to give it a shot. So here I am, and the next one I'm starting is DMC 3. So
you beat DMC 1, and you played DMC 2, but not a fan, which most people are not. not a fan. So what's your plan for the rest of this month, like streaming wise? Do you have a set schedule for the rest of this month on what games you're playing, or?
I generally like to post on my page a general idea of what I'm gonna be playing. And I don't necessarily try to schedule like I'm gonna be playing this game and beat it by this date, because Lord knows if I did that, I'll never beat anything because it would just go way over. And so what I try to do is like, I think I've got it laid out on my page right now. I'm gonna look at it real fast.
All right.
And then I try to update it per month, so this is a little older. So I had at the top the current slab alternating between Mike Tyson's Punch Out, because I can't play that game for more than a few hours at a time without losing my mind.
Which I'm sure that one's close to being beat. Like, I'm sure you're on the cusp of finishing it.
No, I don't know. I'd like to think so, but I'm watching another streamer who's been stuck on Mike Tyson for about 3 weeks now. So
I've been watching the same one. It's it's entertaining.
Yeah, it's rough, but I actually had placed Devil May Cry on that list, and then after those are beat, I said I'll be playing Final Fantasy 14, Destiny 2, Persona 3 Portable, Trails of Cold Steel, and Smash Brothers. So Trails of Cold Steel for PS4 got delayed until March, so I'm gonna have to take that off of there. But
yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, but I'm thinking about doing a playthrough because I did Downpour, and I had a lot of my community who was younger who's never played through any of those games. I'm thinking about going ahead and playing through 1 through 4 on the stream, just more of an educational thing, because that's a game series that I feel has gotten very forgotten, but I also think that it would be entertaining to stream.
Right, the iconic Silent Hill, how it's really from Silent Hill 2, it's really lost this glimmer, which I hope it gets a remake like a RE2 did. I think that would be good for the series itself.
Yeah. As I say on my stream all the time, don't hold your breath.
Yeah, for sure. And did you play through RE2?
I did. I bought the remaster. I have a high opinion of the game. I think it's probably one of the best remasters I've ever played. It's super good.
Right, I played through it as well. I played through it on hardcore mode, but I think kind of messed with my opinion on it a little bit because the game was just really tedious at certain parts. So I plan to do another playthrough in standard. You played through in standard, correct? Or did you do
That's right.
hardcore?
I did Claire A and Leon B in standard.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do next time because hardcore really just grinded my gears the wrong way at certain parts. It was real bad, a lot of rage. But overall, like playing RE2 as a kid, I thought it was an extremely good remake. Like overall.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think? Yeah, for sure. Do you think we'll see other old games get remade? Seeing the success it had, I think it sold like over 5 million copies.
It's almost all but confirmed they're doing 3. But I'm sure that there will still be remakes. That's with this console generation. It seems like the remaster and the remake is a big thing. Just so that people can get the old, like a game that might have not been 60 frames is now 60 frames and stuff like that. So
Right. Speaking of the console, there's rumor that the PS5 and all that nonsense is going to be announced toward the end of this year or next year. Do you have an opinion on that?
that sounds about right. Where Sony's skipping E3 this year, I'd say that we probably won't see PS5. I think they're going to announce it the year it's coming out. So if it's late this year, that would keep the schedule on for 2020, which is when I think that the new systems are going to release.
Is there any features you would like to see in the new consoles that are not currently in them?
I mean, at this point, I don't. At this point, the only real thing that I think that all the consoles should have is backward compatibility. I think it's completely stupid that there's not more backward compatibility. The fact that Xbox has it is great. PlayStation not having it is mind blowing, considering that they've tried it on literally every console that they've ever had
and can never get it right.
I mean, they've got the OG PS3, the 60 gig one, was almost near perfect. But the problem is that they really backed away from that, and a lot of those games are just lost to time. And I think that's unfortunate because I've got all these games sitting here that I can't play, or I'm going to have to find a way to play. And especially with streaming the way it is, there you could open up a new fan base for a game that's been forgotten. And
for sure,
you can't do that without backward compatible consoles because I can't stream all these old consoles without spending more money than I got. So
yeah, I agree with you. Like PS2 to me was like my favorite gaming console. Like to me, that was like childhood, like teenager, like really diving into video games. Like it and the PS1 to me have some of the greatest games of all time that a lot of people just don't even know of.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Nintendo Direct had their thing the other day. Or do you have a Switch?
Oh, I absolutely have a Switch.
Did you watch the releases, the announcement?
I didn't watch the Direct, but I did catch up on the announcements. There's a lot of good things in there, so I thought I was pretty satisfied with it. Zelda.
I was about to say, anything in particular you were super excited for?
Well, Zelda, I think everybody's excited for.
Of course.
The fact that it's going to be a Link's Awakening remake on the Switch, I think that's pretty huge. For me, it signifies that they're moving all their development over to the Switch and that the 3DS is finally going to probably be retired, which I'm fine with.
Yeah, me too.
There's a lot of stuff I miss out on because I'm not a big handheld gamer, and that's the beauty of the Switch. It's like, oh, so now I get to play Fire Emblem in July. because it's on the Switch. I could sit on my butt and play it on my TV.
Yes.
So I'm excited about Fire Emblem. There's a new Platinum game coming out that got announced for August. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but the guy who created the original Devil May Cry is on the development team for that game.
Be all about that game. All about it. So, with the 3DS getting retired, do you think they will move toward another handheld, or do you think they will just stick with the Switch and not go back to the same routine they've always had of like 3DS, Wii, 3DS, Wii U, Switch, or do you think they'll just stick with Switch, Switch 2, or however they may do it?
I think that their strategy, at least for the time being, is going to be on the Switch as one console that does both things. Because I feel that Nintendo thinks that they're dividing up their first party support, and that was part of the reason that the Wii didn't work so well, is that all these games from all these developers have never been on a home console. Like, you've never had the Pokemon team work on a home console game. Right. You've never had Fire Emblem since the GameCube has been handheld. There's all these games that would do well on a console had they been developed for it, and now where you can play them on the television as well as bring them with you, a lot of the same game style development that you see in a 3DS game, where it's more portable, lower res graphics, but it sort of pulls the indie style to the home console with that Nintendo style design as well.
For sure, like I agree with you. Like Fire Emblems have always been one of my favorite series, but like it's hard for me to like pick up a game, play it on 3DS, and then finish it, because like I'll lay my 3DS down, I won't look at it for a couple days, and something will come out on the computer or something, then I just won't go back to my 3DS. But I think on the Switch, with Fire Emblem coming out and games like that coming out, I think I'll be more inclined to finish it. I think they'll look better. I think they will play better. So I'm really happy Nintendo's making that switch. I hope they stick with it.
And we can stream them too, which is also great. I still haven't figured out how to stream from a 3DS.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing I'm excited about, is streaming like Fire Emblem. Like I'm super excited to do that. The new Zelda game, Mario Maker 2, I think I might even play it. Those are all games I just missed out on because I didn't get the Wii U. I own a 3DS, but I don't ever play it. I thought it was nice that they brought Pokemon over, even though it was kind of different, to say the least.
Yeah, but we know that the real Pokemon's coming out this year, so that helped.
Which is super exciting. So some people have asked me, like, do you want it to stay like Pokemon Go? Like, you should keep capturing the Pokemon the same way, or would you rather go back to battle on each Pokemon? I really don't know, because like if you battle over Pokemon, that is time consuming, but it did add some like interesting aspects if you did like a Nuzlocke.
I think that it's definitely going to go back to the regular Pokemon for the next one, but I also think that they're trying to do things that they've never done before with the first real Switch Pokemon game. So, and that's another thing, is that I don't think you'll see anything about that till E3. Which it was nice that they had the direct, but we all know Pokemon. I'm assuming that Pokemon's coming this year. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, rumored is like November or something, but nothing's like set in stone yet. Yeah. So is there any other? So I know Devil May Cry 5 comes out next month. I'm super excited about it. You're super excited about it. Is there anything else upcoming in March that you think is a must play for you?
I think the next game after that would probably be Sekiro, which I think that's in April. But also those Trails of Cold Steel towards the PS4, they're finally going to come out unless they delay them again. So those are my big two. But DMC is probably my bread and butter at the moment. And I don't think Days Gone comes out until April as well. So, but yeah, those are the next few big games that I'm really excited about until we figure out what else is coming out this year. Yep.
Yeah, same for me. Like Devil May Cry 5 is a big one. Like I'm always looking for new RPGs. Fire Emblem got announced for July, I think. And games like that, I mean, games I just think are going to be good to stream, fun to play. Is really what I'm looking forward to. And I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to get into Anthem or not.
Yeah. Me too. I think tonight we'll find out more about that because I will be I'll be checking out the game, see if I'm gonna like it or not. But I didn't expect to like it, so we'll see what happens. I know that the launch is going a lot better than what I thought it was gonna go, so that's a good sign.
Because there was so many negative things about the beta that like it's hard to expect a game like that to have such a rough beta and then like a week later expect it to be fixed.
Yeah, absolutely. But they did it. I don't know how.
So, supposedly they did it, but EA though it's tough. That's a tough company to trust.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that is true.
but I do think overall though the idea of Anthem is good. The fact that it is PC, everything, unlike Destiny. I wish Destiny was PC. I feel like that.
Destiny 2 was on PC.
Destiny 2 is, but like Destiny 1 wasn't, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And I always felt like if I jumped into Destiny 2 without Destiny 1, I was missing a piece of the story, which I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, I would say that you're safe. The secret here is that the story to Destiny 1 is that there wasn't really a story until maybe the first expansion.
Right.
And that you could probably jump into Destiny 2 and not feel like you've missed anything because it's barely referenced from what I played. But
okay.
So you should be fine. But I think that I would try Anthem first, just because you're already interested in that before you go jump down the Destiny hole.
Right, because Destiny 2's got like a ton of content.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering how well Anthem will do. I wonder what kind of microtransactions they'll have in the game and all that fun stuff and how they'll do it.
Yeah, and I hope not too much, but I guess we'll find out. I'm sure there'll probably be some sort of season pass or something of that nature. That's what I would expect.
Right. So, I know you said you was playing Final Fantasy 14. Have you always been big into the MMO Final Fantasy?
Not necessarily. I didn't really start playing Final Fantasy 14 until a few years ago, and I've never really gotten super far into it. It's sort of one of those things where I pick it up every once in a while to mess around with it. Um, I may actually be moving on from Final Fantasy 14 for a little bit just because I've been playing more Elite Dangerous than I planned on playing. So, but it's a fantastic game, and I think it's better than World of Warcraft. I know it's definitely less stale, and it's definitely worth picking up.
Right, I agree with you. Like, I played it, but like at the same time I was playing WoW, you know, the WoW addiction, like once you play WoW you can't quit WoW type deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they release a new raid and everything, it just brings you right back in. But I would like to play Final Fantasy 14. I know they have a new expansion coming out with like the Gunblader, the Blue Mage, and I think the Dancer.
Yeah.
That's
and I got a new the new expansion coming out this summer as well.
So that's exciting. So Elite Dangerous, you've been playing that, right? A lot.
Yes.
So, like, I didn't know what it was about, and I'm guessing some people. So, explain the game. What's it about a little bit? When did it come? Do you know how long it's been out?
I think it's been out since. I know it was an early access game or a beta game or one of those, but it came out on PC. I think it's been 4 or 5 years ago now. But basically,
wow.
it's picture No Man's Sky, except there's less planetary stuff. Like you can't land on planets and scan stuff and mine planets on foot, stuff like that. It's more spaceship oriented. It's more in outer space, and it's more realistic in terms of the style. It's based on a realistic model of the Milky Way. So, like, you can go to Earth, you can go to planet Vulcan. You can. There's only a little amount of the galaxy that's explored that and civilized. The rest you have to go find. So I mean, there's a lot of different stuff. It's pretty cool.
So, did you play No Man's Sky?
I did. Initially disappointing, but I did re-pick it up when the next update came out this past year, and they fixed a lot of stuff about the game, and that was pretty fun going back to that as well. It still didn't grasp me like I thought it would, but even before the game originally came out, especially not to the degree that Elite Dangerous is. That's another thing about Elite is that it's way more complicated. It's more of a flight simulator than No Man's Sky, so it's definitely the learning curve is definitely a lot higher. But at the same time, once you figure out everything, it's pretty satisfying.
Right, makes sense. So the first thing I seen when I looked at it, it reminded me of Star Citizen. Is kind of what it really looked like to me. Have you been interested in Star Citizen at all, or?
I've not checked out Star Citizen yet, but I wouldn't mind trying it out. Sort of waiting to see a little more from, to be honest. But
right. I
mean, I've heard a lot of comparisons as well.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I looked at it, I was like, "Dang, this game looks crazy." Like, it's just a lot going on. Like, it took me a minute, but it is entertaining to watch. It and your Mike Tyson runs, which so where I'm doing classic RPG month, a lot of people haven't seen the games I've played, like the Legend of game. A lot of people don't know what that game is. They've never heard of it, which is heartbreaking to me. But how does it feel playing a modern game versus a retro game? Like, just the feeling in general.
It's definitely it's sort of hard to explain. Some games that I'm playing that are retro are games that I'm familiar with. So there's the nostalgia feeling to it that comes for not just me but other viewers. So so people who watch are just watching because it's like, oh, I love this game. And there's some games that I'm playing because I've never played them before. Like I never played Chrono Cross till I streamed it. So that was completely different, and that becomes a little bit different. It's like, well, how does it hold up in terms of controls, how it plays, how grindy it is, all that fun stuff. And that's all interesting to find out too. So I mean, it just depends on the feeling because you sort of judge an older game differently just based on the rep that it's got and if you've never played it.
The nostalgia that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the main thing I notice is like retro games are just hard. They're hard as shit.
Oh yeah,
they're hard as shit. Compared to new games, oh my god, like they're so hard. Like Mike Tyson, Battletoads, Superman 64, like oh my god.
Yeah, the way that they wanted you to get your money's worth back then was more in the challenge because they knew that like 6 or 7 levels wasn't going to get you any far unless you're playing those levels a lot.
Right. So, they made the games hard as shit. And like, I mean, the biggest thing, like from playing like old school RPGs to like modern RPGs, is really the convenience of life, right? Like, instead of like going to my menu and then going through like 45 options to get what I want, like in a modern RPG, it's like 2 pushes of buttons, characters done, new gear on, new everything, we're good to go. And I think that's really the big difference with RPGs, because like old school RPGs are really no harder than new ones. I mean, you either grind and kill the monster or it takes you out. Like, if you're too weak, you just grind it up.
Yeah, exactly.
But a game like Mike Tyson, that's like, 5 buttons, I think? Like left, right, 2 punches, and a block.
Yeah, I mean...
It's hard as shit. You
get the control pad, and you get 2 buttons, and you get the select button. That's what you got.
And it's hard as crap. Like, you would think something like that would be super simple, like, all you have to do is dodge this guy's attack, hit him a couple times, you win. But, God, it's just not that easy. It's not that simple.
I mean, at the end of the day, it sounds simple to just say it's all about, like, timing and pattern recognition, but it's way harder than that for sure.
Right. Yeah,
pulling my
like
hair out over here.
like people are just like, it can't be that hard. It's like 4 buttons, or like they played the new one that's the Super Punch Out. I think is what it's called, right? The one that came out not too long ago.
They made a Punch Out for the Wii. I think that's the one you're talking about. I
Yeah.
think it was just called Punch Out.
Right, and it was like supposed to be like super easy. Like Mike Tyson wasn't in it or nothing. It was like super easy. But then like you play this old school one, it's just ridiculous. It's just so hard to deal with what's going on. And you would think somebody like us who's played games for 20 plus years wouldn't have such a hard time with it.
Yeah, exactly. You wrong.
You absolutely wrong.
Oh man.
Oh.
It would about drive me crazy playing that game. Eventually I'll beat it though. And that's the thing is that I think that once I beat the game, it will be amazing for not just me, everybody watching. Like,
right. The relief you'll have from actually like finishing it will just be, oh man, that's really like Dark Souls, all those hard games. Like when you beat the boss, that's where the reward comes in.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's just like, I beat it.
Yes, that's what makes those hard games are really worth it though. Like when you beat the boss or you beat the level or whatever it may be. Like, the reward you get is just the satisfaction of doing it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, yeah, the fact you can tell all your buddies, and now it's recorded on the internet, I beat this game.
I did it. Another thing that I think streaming has helped me do is finish games. Because, like, I used to have a problem of, like, get, like, 95% of the way done, and then I just wouldn't finish it. I think streaming has really helped me, like, we play it, we finish it, we enjoy the experience, and then we go to the next. I think it's really helped me. What about you?
Absolutely. I finished, as I got older, I finished more games, but I definitely finish a lot of games now just because it's hard to get bored with with chat interaction. It's hard to get bored with the games as fast just because I know it's fun to interact with people in chat while I'm doing these games. It's like I could have never beat all those Kingdom Hearts games. I would have probably dropped myself. I would have been bored by like Kingdom Hearts 2, like all the extra like PSP games because a lot of it is basically the same thing over and over again. After a while, everything gets that far, so it's hard to spend that much time on a game. But the fact that, I could talk about, hey, there's sea salt ice cream. This guy keeps saying you got it memorized like 8,000 times. It's really corny, and it's almost like your own like special meme world with your chat. And it's pretty funny, and it keeps things interesting.
I'm just going to assume Kingdom Hearts 3's ending has sea salt ice cream. I'm just going to assume it does. So some other games.
Anything.
Right. I appreciate it. Some other games coming out though. So we got Far Cry. Are you interested? Are you interested in it at all?
I might pick it up. It helps that it's only $40. The issue I had was that Far Cry 5 I thought was decent. I didn't think it was super awesome. But the real issue was that I thought the ending was awful. And the game is based after the ending. So, okay, so we're going to see where this goes. That's fine. But at the same time, I'm just like, I sort of got bored streaming it just because, again, it was a lot of the same type of stuff. And I never thought that Far Cry was as interesting as, like, a Skyrim or a Fallout or, like, The Witcher 3 or anything like that, which would be similar games that are in the genre.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I don't think they're as good as those games, just, like, at the core. Now, I do think it's interesting that they made it $40, so I think that's an interesting thing. I'd like to see more games do that. Like, obviously, as a guy that purchases a ton of games a year, $40 would be cool.
Yeah, I'm absolutely okay with $40. If every game was $40, great.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be awesome. I just don't think it'll happen, but, it'd be awesome if it did. The next game coming out would be the Metro Exodus. I think that's how you pronounce it. Exodus?
Exodus. Yep.
Exodus.
It also, both Far Cry and Metro came out today. So those are available. I've never gotten into, I've never gotten into any of the Metro games. But I wouldn't mind checking this one out. So at some point I may check that out as well. Again, it's more of a shooter, but I feel like it's trying to do the same thing Fallout does, but in a more linear level-based way.
Right. I've played the older ones, and the older ones were really good. They were just kind of difficult, but I thought they were overall good games. Then the next really big one's The Division 2. Are you going to be jumping into that?
I'm not sure yet. It's hard for me to get into that style of game. It's repetitive loot grinding games, which, I mean, that was why I was super excited about Anthem even before it had issues. I sort of need some variety to keep going that long, other than just getting better weapons. Because once you got all the best weapons, I know it's a long grind, but what else is there? And they still expect you to play it.
Right. What's the point? What's the point really once you've got everything?
Yeah.
So there was a fighting game that came out, Jump Force, which had all the anime characters. Well, some. Do you play any kind of fighting games on your stream, like it or Mortal Kombat 11?
I've played some Mortal Kombat. I'm more into 2D fighters than 3D, so Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter is sort of where I go. Right. I'm not very good at any of them.
Same here. Definitely.
But I got a fight stick and stuff, and it's fun to take that out. And I'm definitely looking forward to MK11 that comes out in April. I think I really like how they put a story mode that's a little bit more diverse than just, hey, let's give you the arcade mode, which I think Street Fighter's finally starting to catch up with that. With Street Fighter 5. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. So obviously, Mortal Kombat 11. The big news was, can we get Shaggy in the game? Would you be okay with Shaggy in Mortal Kombat 11?
Okay, so I haven't heard this. Shaggy is like the rapper, or
Shaggy like Scooby Doo.
Oh, well, that would be interesting. I mean,
you haven't seen all the memes being posted of like Shaggy. Shaggy, like
that actually, but that would be fun. I mean, it's Mortal Kombat. I mean,
for sure.
They put the turtles in Injustice too. I mean, they could put Shaggy in Mortal Kombat. I'm totally fine with that.
Like the
I don't think that it's gonna happen. I don't think that they'll get the rights for it, but that would be hilarious. I'd rather be the guy fatality guy. Shaggy, but it doesn't.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere like the petition got like 500,000 signatures or something to put him into the game, which I thought was cool. I thought that was interesting. And then the big exclusive would be Days Gone coming out in April, I think as well. I think April's a big month of games. Days Gone looks interesting. I think I'm gonna pick it up. I'm always a big fan of like the zombie type genre in general.
So the thing that pulls me to Days Gone isn't the zombie thing, because so many people do the zombie thing. I'm zombied out a little bit, but at the same time, they put there's so many zombies on screen in that tech demo that I'd really like to see that executed, especially on the PS4. I'm very curious to see how that works out. So that's what's really pulled me to that one, and I think visually it's going to be a look or two, and of course Sony's just on fire. Every game they release for their system is almost Nintendo level in terms of how good it is. So
yeah, Sony's really been just killing it with their exclusives. Like, I kind of feel bad that Xbox exclusives really don't even exist no more because they just come out on PC.
Yep.
So like I don't even own an Xbox One because I can just get it out on my PC. And I really think that kind of hurt Microsoft in like the console race, or however you want to put it. It's just the fact that everything can just be gotten on their PC.
I I have pros and cons with it. So the cons would be basically, yeah, you can get everything on your PC. The pros, though, is that every game that they release is automatically cross-platform between Xbox and PC. So if you know someone who doesn't want to put the amount of money into a PC like I do, but wants to play State of Decay 2 or Forza, they can do that cross-platform fairly easy, and I'm a big fan of that. And I also think that part of that was them putting out the Game Pass. So, okay, I don't care about Crackdown 3. It doesn't appeal to me whatsoever. But I've got Game Pass, so I might as well download it, at least give it a shot. So it might, get me interested in Crackdown. Not saying it will, because it's highly unlikely. But hey, I've got the ability to do that right now, and I can play it on my PC too. So, and I think that's really helped Sea of Thieves out. I don't think that game's blown up in the last few months, and if it wasn't on PC, it would have just never taken off. I don't think.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think there is the pros of the cross-platform. Do you think we'll ever get consistent cross-platform between PS4, Switch, Xbox, PC? Do you think that'll ever just become a consistent thing, kind of like with Fortnite?
I don't think so. It definitely has to be a game by game basis, especially with shooters, because of the competitive edge you have with PC keyboard is just ridiculous. So
Right.
it's just going to depend on the game. Like Rocket League PC players would play with controllers, so like I could see that happening. And I'm actually excited to see Apex Legends because they say eventually that's going to be cross-platform. But it's definitely a case-by-case basis for sure, just depending on the game. But I mean, it's helped Fortnite like crazy. I think that's part of the reason it's the biggest game out there right now.
Yeah, I agree. The ability to play with any console is immense advantage they have over everybody else. I hope Apex does do the same round. I hope Apex releases a solo and duo mode, which is rumored they're going to, but I feel like they need that pretty soon.
Yeah, I would like solo, and duo would be really good as well. I think duo would be more suitable for the game style just based on what advances they made, which is what I was saying. I was actually talking to somebody else about that earlier. Um, but yeah, absolutely. Solo would be nice.
Solo duo would be nice. So the one thing I'm curious about though about the game is like, what improvements do you do next? Like, so rumor is they're working on a new map already, but I feel like they have to be really careful about releasing a new character or a new gun with like how the game plays. Because if you release a new character and it's just busted, then you're gonna have a lot of problems. I feel like they have a different issue than Fortnite does. I feel like.
Yeah, they definitely have an issue with character balancing, but I mean, we see that with every game though, with Overwatch and then with like MOBAs, where like they'll release a new character and in almost any one of these games, that character is just jank, busted right off the bat. It's just
For sure.
Um, and in some way, I know a lot of the MOBAs just let it be busted until they add it to like a comp play, and then they nerf that character in favor of the next new character. But I mean, I don't see that working the same with Apex, but I also don't. I don't know. I don't know how that'll affect the game, but we're just starting out with Apex, so I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I'm super excited for it. So we got just a minute left. So BloodWake, just in case I don't get you back on here this year, what is your most look forward game rest of this year? What do you think is going to be your game of the year rest of this year? Whether it's out yet or to be announced, like to come out, like doesn't have a release date.
If it's Cyberpunk 2077, that's it. The last game that I really, well, other than like Breath of the Wild, but the Witcher 3 was my favorite game of the console generation up until Breath of the Wild came out. So I think that game is just going to be incredible, and where it's first person and the setting and everything. I can't wait to see what that team does with a new environment.
Yeah, I think CD Projekt Red is going to knock it out of the ballpark with Cyberpunk 2077. I'm super looking forward to that game as well. Any last shout outs? anything you want to say? We'll shout out your stream right here.
Yeah, just check me out, guys. At the moment, I stream pretty much every day except for Sundays. Appreciate everybody dropping by and watching the BlazeCast. It was fun being here, and hopefully we can do this again.
What time are you streaming tonight?
9 p.m. Eastern Time is when I'm planning on starting.
All right, well, that's BloodWakeLive. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you later, my dude.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, that was BloodWakeLive. He was amazing. So I'm signing off as well. I will be back on around 9 or 10 for my own stream. But make sure to go check out BloodWake. He's an awesome streamer. Plays some of the best games. So I will see you guys all tonight. Thank you all for being here for the BlazeCast. And I am signing out.